Picture this. It is a radiant afternoon, the kind that seems to promise possibility. You walk outside, sponge and bucket in hand, ready to give your beloved electric vehicle a well-deserved wash. The sun glints off its aerodynamic curves, a symbol of a cleaner, brighter future. As you prepare to scrub away the remnants of your last city adventure, a nagging question interrupts your peace of mind. Is it possible that washing this vehicle could expose you to a dangerous electric shock? Could this marvel of modern engineering, designed to save the planet, actually hide a silent hazard? If you have ever pondered this, you are certainly not alone, and your curiosity reflects a much wider, fascinating debate echoing across continents. Let us begin our journey in the United Kingdom, where recent findings have revealed a striking portrait of public uncertainty. A survey commissioned by a leading automotive care specialist polled 1,000 British drivers and uncovered a remarkable result. More than 1 out of every 5 motorists, over 20%, believe that washing an electric vehicle could deliver a hazardous electric shock. This is not a niche worry relegated to a few skeptics. In the bustling metropolis of London, nearly 1 in 2 drivers, close to half, harbored this concern. Among young adults aged between 18 and 24, almost 2 out of every 5 believe that simply getting their electric car wet could spell disaster. By comparison, only about 8% of older drivers in the 55 to 64 age bracket share this fear. This is not just a generational gap. It is a yawning chasm, shaped by different experiences, levels of trust in new technology, and perhaps the relentless pace of innovation itself. But why do these fears persist? What is it about electric vehicles that makes the act of washing them seem risky, even deadly, in the minds of so many? To answer this, we must look beyond the statistics and consider the broader landscape of technological transformation. All around the globe, governments are pushing for a future free from the pollution of fossil fuels. Ambitious targets for zero-emission transport are being set everywhere from Scandinavia to Southeast Asia. Policymakers in North America, Europe, and beyond are investing billions of pounds, euros, and dollars into research and development, funding next-generation batteries, expanding charging infrastructure, and offering generous incentives to entice drivers away from gasoline and diesel. Traditional automotive giants and daring new startups alike are caught up in the race, unveiling everything from compact electrified hatchbacks to opulent SUVs and even electric hypercars that redefine performance. The message is clear. Electric vehicles are not just on the horizon, they are here now, and adoption is accelerating with every passing month. Yet for all this progress, a fog of myths and misconceptions lingers. These myths are not born in a vacuum. They are rooted in the deep-seated anxieties that often accompany technological leaps. History is filled with examples. When the first gasoline-powered cars emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, people worried about spontaneous explosions, fires, and unseen hazards lurking beneath the hood. Sensational headlines chronicled early accidents, and stories of runaway cars spread like wildfire. Over time, as familiarity grew and safety standards advanced, these fears faded into the background. But with each new breakthrough, the cycle of suspicion and skepticism begins anew. Today, electric vehicles stand at the center of a similar storm. Fears about running out of charge, so-called range anxiety, are commonplace. Uncertainty about charging procedures, doubts about battery lifespans, and vivid reports of rare but spectacular battery fires dominate social media feeds. And then there is the persistent myth of electrocution, especially when water is involved. A myth that clings tenaciously to the public imagination, fueled by misunderstanding and a scarcity of accessible information. Industry leaders are eager to set the record straight. Lee Irving, technical training manager at a prominent car care company, emphasizes, "The world of electric vehicles can seem mysterious to many, but correcting these misconceptions is absolutely crucial." He reassures drivers, explaining that electric vehicles are subjected to exhaustive testing for water resistance and electrical safety. Manufacturers perform rigorous water-soak tests to guarantee that all high-voltage components are completely insulated and that consumers remain protected in every conceivable scenario. Motoring journalist and campaigner Quentin Wilson is even more unequivocal. Getting a shock when cleaning an electric vehicle is an ancient myth, utterly unfounded, he asserts. According to Wilson, electric vehicle safety standards are not just high, they are among the most rigorous in the automotive world. Every part, from the battery pack to the wiring, is sealed against water, dust, and debris. Charging ports are shielded by multiple layers of insulation and waterproof covers. If any fault is detected, no matter how minor, sophisticated electronic systems instantly shut down all high-voltage circuits, eliminating risk to drivers and passersby alike. Dr. Imogen Radon, an expert in automotive safety, echoes these sentiments. She highlights that electric vehicle safety requirements are even more stringent than those for conventional gasoline or diesel-powered cars. The standards for high-voltage system insulation, crash protection, and emergency shutoff mechanisms are exceptionally tough, she explains. Manufacturers must prove, through a battery of laboratory and real-world tests, that their vehicles can withstand everything from torrential rain and automated car washes to deep water and even partial submersion. So why do such persistent myths continue to shape public attitudes? Professor Klaus Berger, from the Technical University of Munich, provides insight. Public perceptions of electric vehicle safety are too often molded by misinformation and a lack of understanding of the sophisticated safety mechanisms in place. When confronted with unfamiliar technology, people naturally err on the side of caution, or worse, fall prey to sensational tales that spread rapidly but lack substance. This is not just an academic curiosity. The consequences are real and tangible. Misinformation about electric vehicle safety, particularly the myth of electric shock from washing, acts as a significant barrier to widespread adoption, and more than 20% of potential buyers hesitate due to urban legends. The entire transition to cleaner, greener transport slows. In cosmopolitan centers like London, where nearly half of young drivers believe in this myth, the effects may be even more pronounced. Imagine the ripple effects. If even 1 out of every 5 drivers postpones or abandons plans to purchase an electric vehicle because of unfounded fears, the consequences multiply. Fewer electric vehicles on the road means more internal combustion engines burning fossil fuels, more carbon dioxide and particulate emissions, and slower progress toward climate targets championed by governments and international organizations. The opportunity costs are staggering. Quieter, healthier cities remain a distant dream. Public health costs from air pollution rise, and the green economy loses momentum, along with the jobs and innovation it promises. The implications extend well beyond individual consumers. Fleet managers, taxi companies, and delivery services may hesitate to electrify their operations if employees or customers express doubts about safety. Policy initiatives, whether in the form of subsidies, tax breaks, or investments in infrastructure, lose their impact if public confidence remains shaky. Isabel Durant, a leading advocate for sustainable transport and environmental protection, underscores the point. Addressing both range anxiety and the availability of reliable charging infrastructure are essential for boosting electric vehicle adoption rates across Europe. But equally important is dispelling myths about safety. So what is the real danger? Is there an overlooked design flaw lurking within the batteries or wiring of electric vehicles? Or is the greater risk that misinformation and urban legends will derail one of the most significant technological transitions of our era? Experts are in near unanimous agreement. The real hazard lies not in the hardware, but in the headlines, the rumors, and the chasms in public understanding. Let us examine what makes electric vehicles uniquely safe, especially when water is involved. Today's electric vehicles are masterpieces of engineering, equipped with multiple, redundant safety systems. High-voltage cables are immediately recognizable by their bright orange coloring and are swathed in several layers of thick insulation. Battery packs are hermetically sealed in waterproof, impact-resistant casings. Every electrical connection is built to withstand not only driving rain, but the powerful jets used in automated car washes and even accidental flooding. Before any electric vehicle reaches the showroom floor, it must survive a battery of punishing safety tests set by regulators in Europe, North America, and Asia. These tests include immersing vehicles in water, blasting them with high-pressure hoses, and simulating real-world crashes and accidents. Only if the car passes every test, without a single electrical leak or safety failure, does it earn certification. In fact, the safety standards for electric vehicles are so comprehensive that, in many respects, they surpass those for gasoline or diesel-powered cars. Here is a detail that few consumers know. The overwhelming majority of electric vehicles are programmed to detect even the faintest sign of electrical trouble. If the system identifies a leak, a short circuit, or any abnormal current, it automatically disconnects the battery from the vehicle's circuits. This fail-safe mechanism operates in milliseconds, far faster than any human reaction, ensuring that no electricity can flow where it should not. Your electric vehicle is, in effect, its own vigilant guardian, monitoring itself around the clock, whether you are driving, charging, or washing it in your driveway. But the science is only part of the story. Let us explore how these myths play out in everyday life. Imagine a family in suburban Manchester contemplating their first electric vehicle purchase. The parents are drawn to the promise of lower running costs, reduced emissions, and a whisper-quiet ride. Yet their teenage son, scrolling through a popular social media platform, stumbles upon a viral video warning about the supposed dangers of electrocution from washing an electric car. Doubt enters the equation. The family hesitates. Multiply this scene by thousands, and you begin to understand how misinformation can stall progress across entire communities and even nations. Or consider a retiree in rural Wales, where only 7% of drivers express concern about this myth. A stark contrast to the nearly 50% in London. What accounts for this disparity? In smaller towns and villages, word of mouth, local knowledge, and trusted mechanics often outweigh the influence of internet rumors. As more people in these areas gain hands-on experience with electric vehicles, confidence grows, and myths lose their grip. This offers a powerful lesson. Direct interaction with new technology is one of the most effective antidotes to fear and misinformation. The consequences of inaction are not theoretical. They are unfolding as we speak. In countries where myths about electric vehicle safety are not challenged, adoption rates lag behind global leaders. Urban centers remain burdened by traffic congestion and smog, and the health costs of pollution climb relentlessly. On a global scale, the window for achieving critical climate targets narrows with every passing year. Dr. Emily Carter, a professor at Princeton University, highlights that rigorous life cycle assessments consistently show electric vehicles have a significantly smaller carbon footprint than gasoline cars, even when accounting for the emissions generated during manufacturing and electricity production. Every year lost to hesitation and delay translates into more pollution, more global warming, and more missed opportunities for a sustainable future. There is, however, reason for optimism. The momentum is shifting. Breakthroughs in solid-state battery technology promise even greater safety and energy density, reducing the risk of thermal runaway and making batteries lighter and more efficient. Ultra-fast charging networks are emerging in cities and along highways, slashing charging times and alleviating range anxiety. Comprehensive recycling programs for used batteries are being developed, ensuring that the transition to electric mobility is not only cleaner, but also circular and sustainable. Governments are playing their part as well. Fatih Birol, executive director of the International Energy Agency, observes, government policies, including targeted subsidies and clear emission mandates, are key drivers of electric vehicle market growth on a global scale. Strong policies send clear signals to manufacturers and consumers alike, accelerating the shift to electrified transport. Automakers are also confronting emerging challenges, such as cybersecurity. As vehicles become ever more connected, communicating with charging stations, navigation systems, and even other vehicles, the risk of digital attacks increases. Car manufacturers are investing heavily in secure software, encrypted communications, and rapid response teams to ensure that safety extends beyond the physical components to the digital realm. This holistic approach, combining robust engineering, meticulous testing, and proactive public education, is the bedrock of consumer trust. But what can you, as an individual consumer, really do? First, arm yourself with reliable information. If you are considering buying or already own an electric vehicle, consult your owner's manual for precise guidelines on care and maintenance. As Lee Irving from Autoglim emphasizes, washing an electric vehicle is no more dangerous than washing any other car, provided you use common sense. Avoid spraying high-pressure water directly at the charging port, and never wash the car while it is plugged in and charging. These are simple, universal precautions, no different from those recommended for gasoline or diesel vehicles. Second, become a champion for truth within your community. When you hear friends, family, or colleagues repeat myths about electric vehicle safety, share what you have learned. Direct them to reputable sources, government agencies, consumer advocacy organizations, and trusted experts in the automotive field. The more people are exposed to accurate information, the faster misconceptions fade into irrelevance. Third, recognize your influence as a consumer. Automakers are acutely attuned to public sentiments. When buyers demand transparency, robust safety features, and genuine environmental responsibility, companies respond. By supporting brands that prioritize innovation and honest communication, you are helping to shape the market and drive progress. Here is a remarkable, often overlooked fact. The technology protecting you every time you wash your electric vehicle is frequently more advanced than what you encounter in many household appliances. Modern electric vehicles are designed to automatically cut off all high-voltage circuits at the slightest sign of trouble. In practical terms, this means that washing your electric vehicle is, in many cases, actually safer than plugging in a kettle or using a hairdryer near water. This is next-level engineering, an invisible safety net working for you every day. As the shift to electric vehicles picks up speed, the stakes are massive, not just for individual drivers, but for neighborhoods, cities, nations, and the planet as a whole. Will we allow outdated myths and misinformation to hold back progress? Or will we embrace the promise of cleaner, safer, and more sustainable mobility for all? The consensus among experts is clear. The future is electric, and it is far brighter and safer than old rumors would have you believe. Let us take a moment to look ahead. Imagine a world where every street, from urban centers to rural villages, is filled with silent, zero-emission vehicles, where children play in parks unclouded by exhaust fumes, and city skylines are no longer shrouded in smog. The transition to electric mobility is not just about cars. It is about reshaping our societies, our economies, and the very air we breathe. The journey will not be without its challenges. Overcoming range anxiety requires not only better batteries, but also the widespread deployment of fast-charging stations in every community. Addressing concerns about battery recycling means investing in new technologies and robust collection systems. Managing the growing demand on our power grids will require smart infrastructure and investment in renewable energy sources. Yet every challenge is an opportunity for innovation, for job creation, and for building a more resilient, equitable future. As Elon Musk, the chief executive officer of Tesla, has often remarked, continuous innovation in both battery technology and comprehensive safety systems is paramount to ensuring sustained consumer confidence in electric vehicles. The focus is not just on making electric cars faster or more luxurious, but on making them safer, more reliable, and accessible to all. So, what myth about electric vehicles have you encountered that left you scratching your head? Was it the idea that they are too slow, that batteries will not last, or perhaps that charging is impossibly complicated? Or was it, as we have explored today, the fear of electric shock from the humble act of washing your car? Whatever the myth, remember, knowledge is the strongest antidote to fear. If you found this deep dive enlightening, or if you feel ready to challenge an electric vehicle myth the next time you hear it, hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the worlds of technology and global economics. Share your thoughts and stories in the comments. What is the wildest myth about electric vehicles you have ever heard? Your voice helps drive the conversation forward. Together, let us clear the air, both literally and figuratively.